What's up, guys? We've talked about Rainway on the Switch, the PC, the Xbox One for quite a while now. It's actually been in development for a little while, and the one that's always stuck out to us as not making a lot of sense is the Switch, because a lot of us figure Nintendo probably would not approve this app, but they haven't come out and said no yet. And in fact, the Rainway app, the one that's basically the lead here, Andrew Sampson, has even said they haven't said no yet, they just haven't really said yes. So they're kind of in that phase of in-between time, but in the meantime, it looks like they've made a lot of headway with Rainway on the Switch, more so than I think a lot of us would expect, and they even have games like Nier and Batman working on it right now. So it really started the other day when he showed the Switch using HTML5 for Gamepad Tester, which lets you kind of play around with the controls on the Joy-Cons through the web browser. And that was great because that does technically work towards Rainway's advantage, since Rainway is a browser-based application. It would have to use the browser and the Switch, according to them, to then stream games from your computer to your Switch, and your computer will do all of the rendering, your Switch will just take advantage and kind of act almost as like a second screen that you can walk around the house with. Now, of course, they've also showed features of it working well off-site. Like, we're talking like they've showed it up to like 50, 60, 70, 80 miles away from the source. So this is something that would work basically anywhere you are, with latency depending on how far you are from the source, and of course your internet speed and bandwidth. But then things get really interesting, and Andrew Sampson shows Nier working perfectly on the Switch, being streamed from his computer. He said the specs in his computer were an i5 4440 and an RX 480 running in tandem with the Rainway app to then stream to the Switch. And this is interesting. One, I think a lot of us were assuming that it would be kind of difficult with the way the browser works for it to even function correctly. It looks like it works fine though, which is interesting. And now we're kind of in this phase where it's up to Nintendo. Does Nintendo want to flip the switch on the possibility of games that they cannot control working on the Switch? They will get no real money for these games working on the Switch, but it will also open the Switch up to being much more featured. There's more features to it then, because then you can play a vast library of Steam games, even if you're not near your computer, just using your Switch. So this really just gives the Switch kind of more meat to it, right? Now it's an off-site Steam machine as well, if you consider that, using Rainway and a decent internet connection. And a lot of people have been looking at this for a while because, again, if you have a Switch and you have a decent computer, now you don't have to be near your computer to play it. You can kind of play it in handheld mode while you're kind of hanging out around the house. Maybe you're upstairs, your PC's downstairs, you don't feel like going downstairs to play some games. And because the Switch has, really, if you look at it with the Joy-Cons, a very good set of controls, essentially. All the buttons, everything's there. It's very interesting to a lot of us to possibly play these PC games at full settings through your PC and then kind of have it on your screen for your Switch. But keep in mind, the visuals won't look amazing because it still has to go through compression and things like that when traveling from your computer up to your game system with the Switch. Either way, it looks like they're making accelerated progress on this, I guess, just to hope, really, in their case, really hope that Nintendo does approve this app. And I think Nintendo's kind of looking at both sides. Is it worth having a vast library of Steam games on the Switch that we cannot monetize? But in the long run, it'll make the Switch more useful to people, and people might honestly buy the Switch to play Nintendo games and also kind of have a portable streaming device for their services on Steam and different games. I mean, you could kind of hang out upstairs and maybe play WoW on the thing. I mean, it supports keyboards now, so yeah, you could technically do that. That's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Rainway looks cool. Either way, it's going to be functioning on PC. I assume it'll work fine on the Xbox. I don't see why Microsoft's their team would not approve this app. It makes sense for them since they control Windows anyway. So what do they care? I mean, you're going to buy it on Steam or the Windows Store, and then you're going to play it on your Xbox. So they probably don't care. But the Switch is more interesting. I think it'd be cool for Nintendo to approve this app. I think it's something that most PC users would really like, because a lot of people who have PCs are still interested in the Switch because of the Nintendo games. So that seems like a great, like, really just, it seems to work great for that consumer base with PCs who then also want to play Nintendo games. And oh wow, it also works for me to stream my games to the Switch. Very cool. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.